No, we'll just keep buying, right? The price is going to go up. It's going to get exponentially harder, and the price is going to go up exponentially higher, and we'll just keep buying. And at some point, if we get to 5% of the supply, Bitcoin's probably going to be $1 million a coin. And if we get to 7.5% of the supply, Bitcoin will be 10 million a coin. And then we'll be, if I'm lucky enough to grind to 10% of the supply, Bitcoin's going to be 50 million a coin, and someone will be whining that whatever, we have too much Bitcoin, but other people will have $400 trillion of wealth. So, our view is it's a ratchet, and we're just going to keep cranking on the ratchet, and there's massive leverage here. And I think everybody's winning if we do that.
Michael Saylor predicts Bitcoin could reach $1 million per coin if just 5% of its supply is owned, and potentially $50 million at 10% ownership. He emphasizes that Bitcoin's fixed supply and transparent rules make each coin more valuable over time. According to Saylor, this is not about hype, but about design, and those who act early will be part of a new financial future. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, where Saylor provides more detail on his Bitcoin strategy.
Also, if you enjoy listening to crypto-related content, please show your support by liking and subscribing to this channel by following the link in my bio, and get access to my free daily crypto updates and expert predictions direct to your inbox. Each newsletter contains on-chain data, forecasts and expert predictions. All of this is available free of charge. It only takes a moment to sign up, and you can always change your mind later.
Now back over to Michael Saylor.
To equate Ethereum and Solana to Bitcoin is like equating balsa wood and clay bricks to steel. And you can also lever them, but you can lever balsa wood, but levering, you can build lots of things that are steel containers, and you can use rubber bands, but it's not the same thing. So there's a reason that securities law prohibits public companies from capitalizing on securities. And the reason is because you can lever a security 100 to 1. And so if I actually issued 1% of the float of a security, I could take $10 million and create a $10 billion market cap company. And so you would literally have 10 million in the float, and then you would tell yourself you had $4 billion of collateral on your balance sheet after you levered it up, and then you would start to act that way. And then when the bottom of the structure comes crashing down, you get a situation like Terra Luna or like FTX. Both of those were examples of companies levered on proprietary tokens. And so Solana and Ethereum are they may not be securities, but they're definitely tokens. And as tokens, they're not a commodity. And so I would caution anybody listening here against levering up on a token, right, or a proprietary asset, because it's kind of like trying to copy my skyscraper and doing it with bricks or with aluminum or with copper, right? The entire thing's going to buckle, and lots of people are going to die, and it's going to be a catastrophe, and you're going to take out the entire city block. And that did happen. It has happened over and over again in the crypto world. Happens all the time. People think that they discovered leverage, and what I'm doing is not an intelligent or brilliant idea because I'm using leverage. The reason it works is because I'm putting leverage on steel. I'm doing it with the right material. I'm actually using a product which doesn't deflect, right? And so Bitcoin is a crypto asset which does not deflect. That's why you can lean on it with $10 billion of leverage or $100 billion of leverage. And if you do the same thing with FTT token or Luna, or pick your favorite token, if you do the same thing, you're going to find it will buckle at some point. And when it buckles, there's going to be catastrophe. Look, I think the key with Bitcoin is the protocol itself is stable. Nobody can censor the network. It's distributed enough. No one can censor or corrupt the protocol. No one can control the price. It is sufficiently decentralized and global that no company, no country, no capitalist has enough influence to be able to put it at risk. And it is the one thing that we can all agree on in that regard. So when we go to the question of companies adopting the Bitcoin standard, Jeff, I think the primary guiding principle is you want to do this well. The question is, are you going to adopt Bitcoin as your primary treasury reserve asset? That means like flip 90% of your long-term capital to Bitcoin, right? 5%, 2% doesn't really do the job. You really want the vast majority of your long-term capital. Substantially, you want 100% of long-term capital to be in Bitcoin. And I define that as you've got working capital. If you need $50 million in working capital, then you hold that in the fiat currency of your liabilities. Everything else is long-term capital. You flip that to Bitcoin. And then after that, right, you've got two parts of the business. You've got the operating business, and then you've got the treasury, or you've got the balance sheet part of the business. I don't have any advice to people on the operating part of the business. Every single operating business is different. The only thing you can say is that 0.1% of operating businesses are good, and 99.9% of operating businesses struggle at all times. I mean, that's the big piece of wisdom I have for you. If you feel like your business is under pressure and is difficult and challenging, that makes you one, of the 99.9% that feels the same way. The only people that don't feel that way are the ones that run the monopolies, that are either state-sanctioned monopolies or digital monopolies, and everybody else struggles. And so there's no simple unlock there. I'm going to tell you, get a monopoly from the government of the local country you operate in. That's my suggestion. Or maybe you're lucky enough to be Apple or Google or Microsoft. But if you're not, then the operating business is all about finding a monopoly. And it's not easy to fix that. It's pretty obvious, right? It's quite obvious. It's hard to be better than Amazon or Microsoft or Apple. So the real advice is focus upon the balance sheet, where it is very easy to be better than the US dollar standard or the fiat standard company. So that's the part of your business you can fix. You can fix your balance sheet. And most people don't. Like, most people don't focus on that. They put 98% or 99% of their effort into their P&L. And they're basically pouring 99% of their focus and their energy in a losing cause, and they're not going to win. And they're putting 1% into their balance sheet, where you're 99% likely to succeed on the balance sheet under the Bitcoin standard, and you're 99% likely to fail in the operating business on the fiat standard. But conventional wisdom is to focus on the operation and dismiss the balance sheet.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to access my free daily crypto updates and expert predictions direct to your inbox.